First of all, to tell you that what we've been talking about for the last couple of years has finally arrived, and you have seen it in your news feeds probably, or you have listened to synthetic voices. A lot of AI-generated content starts filtering into our media diet. The main source of it is still the American president. He posted on the weekend, maybe you've seen the video, I'll give you a short summary. He's in a jet, he's wearing a crown, he's dropping some stuff on protesters. And it's all fake, obviously. So these are great times if you're a fan of propaganda, but what does it mean for journalism? That's what we're going to talk about today in our AI Summit. And I want to start with someone who is right at the heart of the AI revolution in Silicon Valley. He's also from Germany. And he's going to be on this screen. And we have to start early because he's in California and it's very late there. So he's the founder of You.com, which used to be an AI-powered search engine. And they pivoted, and now they are offering AI to companies to use their own data and also external data. And they work, among others, with Wort und Bild Verlag and, as we shall hear later, with Deutsche Presseagentur as well. So here with me is the founder and CEO of You.com, Richard Socher. Hello, Richard. He should be on the screen. There he is. Willkommen, Richard. Now, one of the reasons we're here, Richard, is that some journalists are insecure about what AI means for them. So maybe at the beginning, can you tell us about your vision for AI media in the future?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I don't know if I have all the answers. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, great.
Very good.
Yeah, I don't know if I have all the answers, but I do think, never waste a good crisis. Every crisis is an opportunity. I do think AI has the potential to make journalism better. I don't think it will make journalism obsolete. I think there are a couple of different opportunities. I think the most obvious one in the beginning is that AI can become a co-pilot, if you will, not a replacement, right? Research that used to take you many hours or even weeks can now be done in minutes or a few hours. Fact-checking various things in articles can be automated. Sticking to a style guide can be helped and done by a style guide agent. Searching through decades of archives instantly can be done with some of our technology. That's what we do with the DPA, for instance, the Deutsche Presseagentur, the Telegraph in the UK. We work with like fact-checking agents and so on. I think there are a lot of ways that you can make journalism more efficient with AI. Then, of course, there are new use cases that can get unlocked when you use AI that were just impossible before. I call it kind of the village journalist opportunity. Right now, no one can really afford to have a journalist in every village of like 200, 500 people or so. But with AI and the usage of, for instance, public data, voting records, government budgets, infrastructure projects, and so on, you could actually write articles about how did this zip code vote, even if there are very few people. So you can kind of scale and stay hyper-local. I do think, obviously, journalism is an extremely important part of democracy. And while I think there's a lot of pressure on it, and I don't think the content that is the least unique, there will probably be fewer folks working in that. But it's also clear to me that AI will not take away a lot of the important parts of journalism, which are like editorial judgment, knowing what stories actually matter and having a sense for that, doing actual interviews with people and building human connections, doing investigative work and original reporting, building trust, having a brand. I think a lot of companies now need to lean into their brands. And then thinking about just even asking the right questions. And so I could talk for a long time, but those are a couple of ideas of how AI and journalism can, I think, very mutually beneficially coexist.
Now, you mentioned trust. generative AI systems, they work probabilistically, which means they cannot be as exact as someone who is actually checking a fact. And we are in the fact business. Some might say we are in the truth business. So what do you think about, can AI ever tell us the truth?
I do think that, yes. In fact, we can study this, and there are many research papers also that go through and evaluate how often facts have correct citations, how often the citations really are real citations, not made up, and how many unsupported statements there are in outputs and so on. We work with organizations like Wort- und Bildverlag and Apothekenumschau Pharmacy Health magazines, work with insurance companies, with banks, with the NIH, the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton, and the National Health Institute, NIH, and a lot of other organizations that really deeply care about accuracy. And so it is possible, but it's also effort. And I think a lot of companies would rather give you a half-truth that is very fast and creates more engagement than to tell you, like, I don't know. U.com, we actually trained for years to be willing to say, I don't know, if there are no good search results. A lot of people underestimate, they think about AI and they think about large language models, but large language models are to a large degree garbage in, garbage out. And it matters a lot what you put into their prompt. If you put nothing into their prompt, they're more likely to hallucinate something. If you tell them in the prompt, it's okay if you don't find the facts here to this question, it's okay to say you don't know. If you take, for instance, a very simple article, let's say you want to ask, like, what happened last quarter in the financial markets in Southeast Asia? That's your question. Now, if your search backend finds this nice document that talks about last quarter's results in Southeast Asia, but that article happened to be from 3 years ago, and it takes that article and puts it into the prompt, and then the LLM very neatly summarizes it, it will be wrong. And so
we've all been there.
The search backend is very crucial infrastructure part that a lot of people have underestimated the importance of. But if you don't, I think you can make this technology very accurate, and that's what we've been working on now to deliver to companies.
Another subject when it comes to trust is copyright. Many among us in the media feel kind of robbed by the early land grabs that were done by AI companies. Do you think that after all this criticism and also the lawsuits, there has actually been a serious change of mind in the Valley or among your co-founders?
Yeah, so I think it's kind of interesting. There's copyright, and then I think there's what I would call learn right. And a lot of folks try to sort of expand a copyright into learn right. Right? So if you say, for instance, you're copying this exact painting, then that's copyright. But if you get inspired by the style of that painting and you paint a completely new subject in that style, I don't think that's necessarily copyright, right? And sometimes I wonder, there are a lot of different aspects of this. I do think there are some tech companies that took articles from the press, basically rewrote or copied large chunks of it, and then did their own SEO, trying to really actually steal content. One of our competitors had done this, and that really erodes trust, and that should just be actually litigated. And that's just not right. I do think convenience wins. And so if you build a platform that allows people to just get an answer right away, then that will continue to just have a lot of draw for users. But I do think there are a lot of partnerships. And then when we actually partner with companies like the DPA or Wort- und Bildverlag and the Telegraph and others, we just do AI for them on their data, and we don't train anything for anyone else. So there are lots of different partners and different ways of making it work. I do think there's undeniably a lot of pressure, and I think there's a short window right now where the brands that have the outlets that have a strong brand can teach users that if you have questions related to your brand, Could be like, hyper-local things, could be specific for finance, or where you have trust. If you're a Handelsblatt, for instance, or Financial Times, or can be, healthcare types of subjects. If you're Apothekenumschau and things like that. If you have a strong brand, now is the time to teach your readers that they can come to you for answers. They can come to your platform to chat, and it doesn't just have to happen on ChatGPT.
Thank you, Richard. I have one last question for you. As a Silicon Valley tech founder, do you think the press has been too nice to Silicon Valley tech founders?
I don't know. I think it depends on who you ask. I think it's quite high variance, I hear.
I see. Richard, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. And thank you, and we say hello to California.
Thanks for having me. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. Thank you.